We're continuing on our path to a new primer, looking at selecting the location for the primer workshop. So this is another of our three pieces that we're looking at to be prepared for the primer team to come together. And the location is an important aspect of it in terms of the team being comfortable and being able to focus for the work that's needed. So ideally, a team should be away from their daily living. If you can go to a retreat center or a mission guest house where the team is staying together, this is the ideal situation, although sometimes it's not possible, and we'll look at some of those situations. I want a place that has good lighting and ventilation, facilities for meals for the team, toilets nearby that are easily decent, accessible for physically challenged participants, and room large enough to allow a team to be comfortable. If you have a team of about 10 persons, 5 to 8, local team plus, then the couple of LEI consultants, then that allows for the team to work well. And it's helpful if you have good access to electricity, either regular power or a generator. This will help you with computers and those kinds of things that are useful for the primer construction workshop. So I just want to show you a few of the different primer construction workshops. This was in Sierra Leone. We were doing the Krio primer, and this was the office of the Literacy Sierra Leone. It's this, you can see the room was bright and had a good light, had a good ventilation, which was nice. We didn't have electricity for most of the time. That was no electric in the Lungi area. But what the organizers did is every afternoon they had a generator that they would fire up, and everybody would charge the laptops and their phones, and we'd have a fan going and see a corner, which helped with the heat a little bit. You can see down here at the bottom that this is the lady cooking for us. In this case, the team lived close by. We weren't in a place where they were staying together. They were all very good about getting there in a timely manner and being consistent about coming. The ladies, so we didn't have breakfast or dinner, but we did have a lunch. And so the ladies from the church every day were preparing a nice lunch meal for us. And so we had that as a team together. In Malawi, we were doing the Lambya primer, and it was quite the trek to get up to that area. You had to take many buses to a certain point, and then we were in pickup going up to Lambya. But by the time we finished the primer, they actually had bus service, so that was kind of nice. You can see here the primer team. We had about 3 or 4 LEI consultants: Max from Malawi, Patrick from Kenya, and then Nancy, Sue, and myself from the U.S. And then these were our Lambya speakers and team. Once again, we were working in a local church. You can see here the church area. So we're working up on a dais kind of stage area with tables. We have electricity most of the time, not all the time. See Patrick working with our chalkboard we had for writing notes and helping the team. Now, every once in a while, it was nice. 3 meals for the team, the whole team. Now, those of us who had traveled up Colombia were staying at a guest house, and we had breakfast and dinner there. The team had lunch together. Now, this was a time when the first day we had together as a team, we went to a restaurant for lunch, and it took over 2 hours by the time we walked down there. Everybody ordered, and of course, then they had to actually prepare the meal, and then we ate, and we walked back. So it was just much too long a time, and it was way too expensive for the budget. So I suggested to Maxwell, are there some women in the church who would be willing to cook for a small, you can give them a small fee, and we'll provide the food. But if they could cook it, then we can just eat here in the church. And so we did that. It was much better for their budget, and it was much more timely for the team. Now, every once in a while, the team needs a little encouragement. You can see you periodically in the afternoon, we pick up a little treat for them, a soda, some kind of pop, and maybe. In Ica, Peru, we were working with the Aguaruna primer. This was part of the training we're doing in Ica, and so after the primer construction theory week, we're actually doing a primer. And so they brought the Aguaruna speakers in from they lived in a fairly remote mountain area of Peru. And it took them a couple of days' journey to get to us in Ica. So in this case, we brought them out of their area to us. And so since we were staying at a kind of guest house and everybody was together, we had 3 meals a day together. We had very nice facilities with tables, good electric, nice whiteboard, and some other papers that were available. So this was a very good situation for developing the Aguaruna. Ethiopia, the Afar, we had the primer workshop was at the SIM guest house outside of Addis Ababa, and you can see it's a very beautiful location. So we had 4 team members in this case. So we weren't not in the Afar area, but these are all young people who grew up in Afar area or are working in the Afar area, all mother tongue speakers. And so they were working with me. In this case, only 2 of them spoke enough English to really communicate with me, but then they were able to convey instructions to the others. So there was an area with some tables, but the team wanted to work in this space, so it wasn't the most conducive space to working in my mind, but they liked it, and so we had access to it most of the time, or there was an array if the electric was out. We did have space to put our flip charts and materials. You see they're working with computers. We had some break time at a nice area here, so we had all of our meals together. In this case, the team was moving out. Some people had to go back out to take school exams or to do other things. So this one was a very kind of fractured team, so it didn't lend itself to the best use of time. But we also had some time for some recreation in the afternoons. About 5 o'clock, we would take a break before dinner, and the team could go swimming, go for a walk, just do something to clear their heads after a very focused and tiring day. So those are just some different places and ways that we've done primer construction workshops where they've been located. Budget is a big issue. The local team, once again, they need to have prepared their budget, have thought through what would work well for their team members, and begin to select that location.